my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my tomb till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. And freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. And freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you call my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day.
Good morning, Rooted Men. It's great day, isn't it? It's going to be 50 degrees outside, and why did that turn off? That is so weird. All right. Headed on. I swear I was looking at the whole morning. But good to be with you this morning. We're supposed to have 47, 50 degrees here. Whoa, cool. Pretty excited about that. Today's verse is from Ecclesiastes, chapter 5. But before we do that, let's say hello to a few people that have commented, like Chuck B. He said, "Shalom, gentlemen." And I said, "Good morning." Chris Conley's here. Good morning, Chris. Ken Gooch is here, and he says, "Good morning, fellow brothers in arms." And Tom Donnelly's here. Good morning, rooted men. And finally, on the comment list is Bert Reggiati. Good morning, Bert. You know, we get together Thursday night with men's group and sit and talk about life. And I'm always amazed that that since we started doing the rubber hitting the road there earlier in the year, and just talking about Sunday sermon and message and how it affects our lives, how the men share. I mean, I sat there last night and I was amazed to hear some of the things I heard, and we are blessed with some very well-educated, very well-read people in our community, and sometimes getting to know them is the best part. Getting to know what they find fascinating and what they don't, and to me, it's like a little adventure every Thursday night to see what's new and exciting. Let me pull up today's scripture. Share the screen. Ecclesiastes 5. Wow, we're going through this book fast, aren't we? I mean, it's pretty crazy. Let's start with verse 1. What do you say? Because this is the first couple verses in this are going to consume most of the time. I'm telling you, it's guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Draw near. To draw near, to listen, is to better than to offer the sacrifice of fools, for they do not know what they are doing. For they do not know that they are doing evil. I swear I read this beforehand. I just want to stop here because there's a couple of things he said in here that, you know, he guards your steps. What does he mean by guarding your steps? He's telling you to walk humbly, probably listen, be careful, be quiet. And I think the key is the second part of that where he says, offer a sacrifice of fools. I literally had to Google what he meant by sacrifice of fools, because I knew there had to be more to it. Because over the last few weeks we've heard the vanity is all those things that we have is vanity or a vapor. I love the term chasing the wind. Solomon, man, the guy can write. I mean, I guess that was one thing we know is some of the stuff he says makes us think. So I looked at sacrifice of fools this morning just before I went online because it just kept eating at me. And sacrifice of fools is worship without listening, ritual without repentance, just going through the motions. Any religious activity without a submissive heart. So if you're doing it just to do it, it's a sacrifice of fools. If you're doing it and don't believe it, it's a sacrifice of fools. So he's being very clear to you that this is not something to take lightly. It's not something you just do. He's telling you it's so important that you should guard your steps. You should stop what you're thinking and doing and know that what you're doing in the house of God is important. And verse 2 kind of adds to that, but he says, do not be rash with your mouth, nor let your heart be hasty to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Gosh, Talk about a verse that's talking right to somebody. That's me for sure. We how many scriptures have we done over the last few years where it talks about our mouth? Take every thought captive. Every word we say, we should think about. Proverbs 18. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Death and life. Solomon wrote that. So he knows it's important. In James wrote that the tongue is compared to a small fire that can set a whole forest ablaze. Who hasn't been in a church where rumblings or rumors have rumbled in the background with people whispering, and it has caused damage, measurable damage. James also in 1:26, if anyone thinks he's religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. Yikes. So, but the biggest thing that I always look to is Jesus's words. And in Matthew 12, he said, I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. Okay, so let us not be rash with our tongue or our mouth. Let your heart be hasty to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. That one just hangs in the air for a minute if you think about that one. For a dream comes with much business, and a fool's voice with many words. When you vow a vow to God, do you not delay in paying it? Do you not delay paying it? For he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you vow. It is better that you should not vow than what you should vow and not pay. So again, he's cautioning us on our words, but then and he kind of talked about how many words you use, because even Jesus and simply talked about there are many words, and we think that if our prayers are short and to the point, that we've failed somehow. And it's a simple, straightforward truth spoken to God. That's what he wants. And it's so important that our yes be yes, because he's telling us don't make a vow and not do it. A promise to God is something we shouldn't make if we don't mean it. That's the key to these verses here. Our word to God should be honest and trustworthy. There's no doubt about that. Another verse here: let not your mouth lead you into sin, and do not say before the messenger that it was a mistake. Why should God be angry at your voice and destroy the work of your hands? So again, it continues on this thing about another word of caution about making vows without considering the consequences, not considering whether you actually fully intend to even do them. I mean, we all sometimes say things in a moment of excitement. We want to do something. We want to do good. This isn't what he's talking about. This is something where you make basically a dishonest vow where you say you're going to do something that you aren't. Another word, and then I love how he ends this. For many dreams increase, and the words grow many. There is vanity, but God is the one you must fear. What does he mean by fear? I'll pull aside this down for that. I mean, he talks about fearing God. Why should we? It's a loving Father. Why would we be afraid of him? Well, that sounds different than in today's language. We think of fear as something scary in the woods, or something chasing us, or somebody threatening us. But in this one in particular, fear is awe or reverence, a deep respect. All these verses get to this one point, because all this other stuff is part of reverence and respect. we will hold our tongues. We tell the truth. We're humbly and honest before God. We check our heart. Every single one of these things. Without them, we can't truly know God. I mean, truly know the fear of God. We want to respect God. We don't want to disrespect him. But Solomon's giving us a list of things that we should do to make sure we don't. And that's what these verses, short verses, do tell us. Thank you for joining me this morning. Let's see. We got a couple comments. Yes, Patricia says hi. Hi, Patricia. And Ken Gooch says, sacrifice of fools. Sounds like Cain from last night. That is really, you couldn't have nailed it anymore. I mean, exactly what Cain was, how God reacted to Cain's sacrifice is exactly what he's talking about when he's talking about sacrifice of fools. Perfect, Ken. Good catching that. Well, it was a blessing this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. This one I love. I'm loving this book. I mean, this book is so much deeper than me. It is fun to look at. We talk about the wisdom of Solomon, and we talk about how the wisest man in the world. But when you look at some of these writings, you go, I get it. I'm starting to see it now. The ability to write such amazing words and to paint pictures with his words. That's the key. I think you're seeing him paint these pictures. He talks about a sacrifice of fool, or all of the good things that we've accumulated, all the wealth and stuff is just a vapor. It has been a true pleasure. And I thank you, and I'll stop talking now so everybody can go to work, except for Chris. Have a firmly rooted day, gentlemen. And may someone see Jesus in you today. Peace.